Hello everyone, welcome to Introduction to Mudbox 2017. This is going to cover the sculpting portion of the program. In previous lessons we did some painting, so we're just going to go ahead and clear all this out. So we're just going to select these two different layers here and just get rid of them for now. We don't need them anymore. Let's go ahead and jump right in here. So by default we start out with a sculpt surface here, and let's go ahead and take a look at the wire mesh we currently have. So we're going to go to display, and we want to look at the wire mesh. So we're trying to wireframe, and this is the wireframe we have by default. If you want to go to the UV view, you can see this is how Mudbox views this UV set in the Cartesian 1x1 area. Okay. Before we sculpt, we need to have a sculpt layer to sculpt on. So we're going to first we'll make our brush size a little bit bigger, and then we'll create ourselves a new layer here. And we do this on the sculpt side. So we're going to go to sculpt, and I'm going to go ahead and add myself a new layer. Let's call this one base form. Okay. Alright, so starting from the left here, we have sculpt. When you drag, it's not, am I in new sculpt? Oh, okay, no, I'm still on my paint tool. Let's go ahead and click on sculpt. There we go. So now as I drag here, you can see that it's actually sculpting on this geometry. It's doing it at a very low resolution. This is where you want to start your sculpts, is on a low resolution level, as low as you can to get in your base form before you start trying to drive in those details. So same thing as the paintbrush, we have our strength and our size. Size, if you hold B and drag left and right, you can see that the slider is affected over here based on your dragging. Strength is currently set to 15. If I want to bump that up to like 30, you can start getting something more dramatic rather quickly. You can use stamps for this, but since we're dealing with low resolution, you won't be able to see them super well. Go ahead and drag a stamp in there though. Let's say we want to put something like that in there. Again, you can't really tell super well, but you can see it's got a little bit of feathering on it from the stamp. Okay, so moving on, we have smooth. Now smooth, you can access smooth at any time by holding down shift, and you can smooth out the geometry you've been sculpting on, make it smooth back into the base mesh here. And by default, like it's set to the same strength and size you were using before. So if you don't want your smooth to be so intense, you might want to drag that down, maybe down to, let's say, 25. That way when you're smoothing, it doesn't just smash away all those details you currently made. Okay. Smooth can also use a stamp, but I haven't really seen a purpose in using that. Stamp spacing, snap to curve, these are all settings that are by default inside of both smooth and sculpt. Okay. Relax will push apart the geometry. So if like you have a bunch of faces that have been pinched together in here, you can do relax, and that will push them out, even them out. We don't have a situation right now where we can demonstrate this because we don't have any tight geometry to push the geometry or the faces apart with. So we'll have to go ahead and demo relax a little bit later on, but it works much like smooth does, just that it evens out the geometry a little bit better. Okay, let's go ahead and move over to grab. So the grab button, go ahead, and this helps you really quickly shape your model. Now if you're dealing with something that's asymmetrical and you just want to grab one side and kind of shape some stuff out, you can just grab and kind of shape. But if you want to work symmetrically, you can turn mirroring on. And sorry, all this clicky clacking in the background. My dog is being neurotic back there. But you can go ahead and work symmetrically if you turn on the mirroring, and you can very quickly start drumming out shapes here. In the area of effect here, go ahead and start just tearing into the mesh, and this is kind of where you end up with some stretching, and this is where a good point where you might want to smooth and use relax. But you can rough out some forms really quick with this. I'm not trying to make anything specific, I'm just trying to show you how the grab tool works. you went overkill with the grab tool, like I did in the back here, you can always do shift, and that will make the geometry go back. You can do relax, and that will push the faces away from each other, so they don't seem so pinched. So in this area here, see how it pushes all that geometry away from itself. So it kind of works well in tandem with smooth, so it evens it out. That's where they don't bind up. Oops, I just had to fire up. Okay, so that's the grab and the relax and smooth. Pinch, we need a little bit more geometry so I can show you how pinch works. So how about I'm going to raise up our subdivision so we can actually do some more detailed sculpting on this guy. So to raise up your subdivisions, now something you want to keep in mind, this is specific to sculpting. When you go up in resolution, it locks out whatever sculpt you've done on this layer. So you see how it says base form on 1. Now if I go to mesh and add new subdivision level, okay, see now it went up to 6,000 polygons, but it also put this line through this, and that lets you know that you can't sculpt on this layer because this is on level 1. If I want to go down, so you can go to step down, page down, page up will let you go up and down your subdivision levels, obviously. But page down, now I'm back on subdivision level 1, so now I can sculpt on this again. But again, I want to go up in level. So I want to say, actually, let's do add another subdivision level. I want to go up 2, so I get some more geometry. Okay, so now I'm at 6,000 faces. Let's even go one further. Okay, actually, let's do one more. Going to subdivision level 4. Now, this is really high. We're at 98,000 faces now, so what we sculpt in will look a lot better. And I could also get rid of wireframe. I don't really need that on. You can see that, like, you know, how the subdivision is working. So I'm just going to switch wireframe back off. It helps with the processing a little bit. Okay, so if I go back over to Sculpt, now, oh, I need to create another layer. That's right. Subdivision for this one will be details. Okay, and I can go ahead and sculpt in some of this stuff. Now that's a little bit too intense. Let's go ahead and drop this down to 8. Okay, that's a little bit better. And it's using a stamp right now, so the reason why it's got that fluttering kind of effect. Okay. You can turn that off and it'll be a little bit more predictable. You can always go over here where it says fall off. You can also adjust the sharpness, because right now it's set to this ease in, ease out kind of curve. We can always go to fall off, and they have some quick selection ones. So right here is what we're currently at. Could do something like this. It gives us a little more sharp, or something more linear. These are all areas we can mess with. Okay, so now I'm starting to get some rises here, so I can kind of demo how the pinch will work. Okay. I'm not going for any kind of base shape, guys. Here, so there is no art that I'm trying to create here. I'm just showing you how the tools work. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to show how the pinch tool works. So same kind of settings, size, strength. Don't really need this, but as you can see, as I'm dragging here, it's pulling the faces in between the brush closer together, which is great for when you're trying to create wrinkles. The one thing I want to caution you guys with when it comes to the pinch is it does shrink the faces closer together as well. So sometimes you'll end up having geometry that ends up pinched or overlapping that you may not have actually want to have that happen to. So just show what the wireframe is looking like right now. So you can see how it gets pulling these faces in. So you might end up going back and having to do like relax and kind of pushing these guys back out. Wireframe off. Okay. Alright, so we're about 10 minutes. I'm trying to keep these at 10-minute videos. So we made it up to pinch. In the next videos, I'll go through flatten, foam, and some of these other remaining tools down here, and talk about how they integrate in. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson.